Greetings, Namaste. Welcome to Yogi G Studio in Lynchburg, Virginia. Today I'd like to share with you a yoga practice for those of us who have issues with our back, either lower back pain or pain up the body through the spine from the base of the hip to the base of the head. This practice will help us to strengthen the muscles that support the spine, allowing us to relax tension that holds us in a place of pain or discomfort. So bring our hands to the heart, move the arms to the sky, reaching and extending, and releasing and lowering. Aham Brahma. I am loving awareness. Bring ourselves to presence and stillness in this moment. Find the peace that comes through presence. To move through this practice, enjoy the movements and the breath. This will be a gentle practice today, strengthening the muscles that support the spine. All the way up with an inhale. Bring the hands to heart center. Go ahead and extend the arms out to the side, nice and long with the reach of the arms. Bring the hands to heart center like a expanding ball, reaching and releasing. The Shakti energy moves through the heart center as we expand to the side. With deep inhalations, we expand with a count of 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Contract and bring the hands in. 2, 3, 4. Hold. Find this place of stillness just for a moment. Once again, expanding our chi, our shakti, and bring the hands to heart center. Go ahead and begin to extend on the inhales and release. Shoulders down, elbows in, hands to the heart. Reach and extend and release. So we're going to come to standing mountain, swinging over to one side and rising up with a lift up to standing mountain pose. Tadasana. Ankles are hip bone distance apart. If we have a block available, we can tuck a block up between the thighs to feel the energy at the base of the hip, the mula bandha, lock of the root, the base of the hip, rising up through the body with a belly lock and a throat lock. Mula bandha, uddiyana bandha, and jalara bandha. And the hands come by the hips, nice and tall. Squeeze the glutes. Toes are pointing forward. The ankles are right up underneath the hip socket to align the ankles, hips, and the knees. Losing the block as we choose, rising up with a lift up, and bring the hands to the heart. Rise up with the shoulders and out and down into a shoulder roll as we extend the hands. Palms of the hands naturally face forward as the shoulders pull back and down away from the ears. Long through the spine. Now notice, if we have tight psoas, we may have a forward hinge at the hip. And if we round and hinge forward with a rounded back as we come down, this may be caused due to tight hamstrings. So we want to work to release and elongate the body with a tailbone pulling down toward the back of the thighs, the glutes engaged, the inner thighs pulling inward, so we can sit up and stand up nice and tall with the hips pushing forward, lengthening through the hip girdle, long and strong with those locks, using the muscles to support the spine, all the way up with an inhale. Hands to heart center, coming into a nice chair squat with shoulders pulling back and down away from the ears. Then press in the hips, rising up with the arms and releasing down. Let's do that flow, turning to the side as we choose, all the way up with an inhale. Take the heart up, lifting up with the chin, gazing up, making sure we press in the bottom of both feet. Gazing up to the sky, lifting with the heart and reaching with the chin. Exhale as we release. Forward fold and touch down. Soft knees as we hang loose. Halfway lift, hands slide up the shin. Rising up with the hip, lifting with the hip, extending through the spine. Finding our easy chair with a nice flat back, pulling the hip back and down. Easing down as we choose, as low as we'd like to go. Shoulders are pulling back and down away from the ears. We keep a nice long spine. The arms can extend into an easy chair. We can bring the hands to the heart and extend the arms as we choose into extended chair. And then flying back, winging back with the arms. Nice flat back, keeping that back long and strong. Palms of the hands facing down. And then rise up with an inhale. And then release with the exhale. Go ahead and catch the mat. Coming into neutral tabletop position. Hands up underneath the shoulders. And the knees up underneath the hips. Rounding on the exhale. Moving with an extension of the spine on the inhales. And release and round. Tuck the tailbone towards the back of the thigh. Pull the hips towards the hands on the inhale. Gazing slightly forward. Leading with the heart. Rounding. Moving into this movement to strengthen the muscles of support. Elongating and lengthening the spine as we inhale to extend. Exhale as we flex and round. Once more with the inhale. And once more with the exhale. Coming to neutral, go ahead and take the hips from side to side. Try and loosen the hips up so that we have freedom to move the back naturally and freely, organically moving our body. The hip swings over to the right, down and around. Begin to circle the hips, stirring the pot with the spoon. Big movement at the hips. We can pull over to one side. Come to the other side, pulling back and down. Coming back to center and then circle the opposite direction. Moving freely and easily. Moving, breathing, feeling. Listening to our bodies as we move. Coming back to neutral and pull back into a child's pose. Actively stretch down the spine from the hips, down the back. The elbows can come up underneath the shoulders. If there's any discomfort, always modify the position or pose to suit our bodies. Arms can reach out, extending out, one arm at a time. Get a nice stretch to the shoulder, working to elongate through the shoulders. Once more, and elbows pull in as the forehead pulls down, pulling back, easing down into this child's pose. If we choose, we can ease the hands back by the feet and round across the shoulders, gently rounding through the spine from the tailbone towards the base of the head. And the shoulders open wide to stretch across the back of the shoulders. Easing forward with the arms. Coming forward with an inhale. Curl the toes up under, lifting the hips up and back, and take a little movement through the heels, bicycling those heels up and down. The heels remain hip bone distance apart. Rolling up to the tip of the toes in each foot, pushing down through the back of the leg, lengthening through the knee. Go ahead and take a lift with an inhale. Exhale, soften the knees as the heels lifted. Inhale up to toe tips of the balls of the feet, and then push as we lengthen through the heels with the knees extended. And then find baby steps to the top of the mat, moving forward, easing forward, half lift, ease down, forward fold, Uttanasana, rising up with a lift up into extended mountain pose, bring the hands to heart center. So a little movement through the upper body, a little lateral flexion. The arms lift and extend. We take the hands to extend. Take the hands to the right, hips to the left. Kind of ease up on the inhales and release with the exhales. go ahead and begin to move and turn the chin to gaze up under the upper elbow on the right side and then to the left side. Keep a long spine as we reach and extend on the inhales, flexing through the spine as we ease the hip over, gazing up under the elbow, finding the other side, elongating, lengthening, and releasing as we gaze up and turn the chin up. And then reach up with an inhale and release down. Nice. All the way up with an inhale. Beautiful movements with our bodies. Rise up, lift up, exhale, release, forward fold. Nice flat back, find a half lift. And ease all the way down to the mat and over to one side. Find a nice, comfortable seated position and then ease down with a roll back, rounding gently as we roll back, releasing back and down onto the back, reaching the arms and legs long and strong. Hands come by the hips, and then go and bend in both knees, and ease the knees from side to side. Begin to work up the spine from the base of the hip to strengthen and lengthen. Strong spines make for soft, loving hearts. So we take the palms of the hands out, palms turn up, shoulders relaxed, back and down, relaxing and releasing the shoulders as we work through the hip to move the knees in a windshield wiper blade movement from side to side, rocking over on each side. And then bring the hands by the hips with a little pelvic curl. We bring the pelvis into a tuck with the pubic bone coming in towards the sternum, and then release and roll the tailbone down to a neutral spine. Hands can come up under the back to feel that natural lumbar curve, and then let's round into this pelvic curl and release. Articulating the spine in the lower part of the back, just checking in with the lumbar spine as we draw the belly down, sinking deep towards the mat with the spine and releasing with the tailbone, rolling down into the mat. Once more. On the next movement, let's push in the bottom of the feet and roll up and lift up and roll down, articulating down the spine as the tailbone pulls down. Once again, rolling up through the tailbone, all the way up to the shoulders, pressing in the back of the shoulders, easing down, slowly releasing down as the tailbone rocks down. This is just like a cat movement as we rise up and lift up and reach and release with the tailbone rolling down. One more time. Ease up with the hip as we rock up with the tailbone and roll down through the spine. Keeping the spine lengthened and neutral with a nice curve up under the back, the shoulders planted. Take the right knee in and catch up underneath the hamstring. And ease the right knee in up towards the shoulder. A nice pinch at the hip. Take the left leg, reach it up, extend it up, long and strong. Come down into movement with the leg extended as we come down about 30 degrees from the floor, rising up and working up and down. 2, and one more makes 3. Taking that left leg as we push up through the heel and then release it all the way down. Easing down, releasing down. Nice. And take the arms out to a T and the right hand inside the inner thigh to open the knee out to the side. And bring that knee back up and move to the other side. Both knees come side by side. Reach for the left. Extend with the right, easing down. We'll reserve our spinal twists for later on in the practice. We're working to strengthen and stabilize through the spine, elongating and lengthening all the muscles that support the spine. 3 times up with the right leg, and then rise up and reach up and ease down, lengthening down all the way down. The left knee comes in, Draw it up and in. Feet are flexed on both legs. Go ahead and release that knee. Open the knee out to the side, stretching the inner thigh. Short muscles all the way up the inner thigh, opening out to the side. Keeping the core stabilized. Hips are down. Shoulders are down. Long and strong through the spine. Drawing the belly in to embrace the core. All the muscles, transverse abdominis and rectus abdominis, all working to stabilize through the hip, pushing through the legs to lengthen the muscles through the back of the legs. And then bring the knee up and release down all the way overhead with the arms extending, and bring the hands by the hips. As we lift the knees, rolling over to one side and coming up to seated and to neutral table once again. Take the right leg back, easing back with a long reach of the heel, and the left hand walks out and lift into tiger pose. Reach and extend, long and strong. Lower the hand, lower the knee, other side, left leg back, pushing back, once again stabilizing through the core. With the reach of the tiger pose, right hand reaches forward as we extend through the left heel. And go ahead and take the hands down, curl the toes up under, lift the hip up and back. Take that little walk in the park and take a baby step or a giant step forward, bringing both feet forward, hanging in ragdoll, right hand to left elbow, left hand right elbow, trying to lift through the hip with a nice flat back, rounding gently as we choose. And then dangle and release and lift and reach. Nice lift up with the heart and reach with the chin. Forward fold, easing down, touching down. Half lift, lift with the hip, hands slide below the knee. Halfway lifting into Ardha Uttanasana. Find our chair pose, Utkatasana, and find our extension as we choose with short levers. And ease back, swinging back, rising up with a lift up, easing up with the right leg, stepping back into flying lunge, and easing down into a low lunge. Lower the back knee, top of the back foot, working into a runner's lunge with a lift and a pull back with the leg. Coming forward, easing forward, curling the right toe up under, taking a step forward, halfway lift, and forward fold, rising up, lifting up, and bringing the hands to the heart. With a lift of the heart and reach of the chin, we rise up to the sky, extending our mountain. Forward fold, touching down. Halfway lift, finding our easy chair and our extended chair as we choose. And then swing back into a flying lunge, flying chair. And then ease up, reaching up, stepping back, easing back, flowing into flying lunge, and then ease the hands to the heart, catching, framing the forward foot, easing that left leg back, easing down with the knee, finding our runner's lunge on this side. Easing forward, releasing forward, curl the toes up under, stepping forward, halfway lift, easing down, rising up, lifting up, and bringing the hands back to heart center. Our 7 principles of alignment are the ankles are up underneath the hip, long and strong through the legs, tucking the tailbone down towards the back of the thigh, creating a base and dynamic energy with our bodies, creating core stability, aligning the spine, shoulders back and down, soft knees, hinging at the hips, and shorten the lever as we choose to keep a long, strong body as we move through the practice. Rising up with an inhale and release with the exhale. Coming to the top of the mat, finding our way down into a seated position. We ease up with the inhale, forward fold, catching the mat, stepping back with the right foot, back with the left foot, lowering the knees, and swinging through into a seated position. Dandasana. We can be seated on a blanket as we choose, pushing through the heel, shoulders are back and down. Nice staff pose. Maybe the arms reach back, swing back to open the heart and to allow the shoulders pull back and down. Bring the hands to the top of the thigh and finding this forward fold position with the heels reaching and lengthening. Embrace all the muscles from the hip down the leg, actively reaching with the heels. Hands come to the heart center. We can rise up as we choose or bring the hands to heart center as we bow, hinging forward, reaching forward. Go ahead and take the hands down to the shin. Slide the hands down towards the ankles, keeping a nice flat back, doing this pelvic rock to hinge at the hip, easing forward with the heart and the nose reaching towards the toes. And then ease up with a lift up. Bring the bottom of the feet together and open the knees out, winging those knees out to the side. Nice and tall through the spine, taking the hands to the ankles or maybe to the thigh as we choose to hinge forward, easing forward. And rising up, lifting up, extending the legs once more, and find a little Pilates roll back. So we take the hands up underneath the legs and ease back into that roll back position once more with the shoulders down and the head easing down. Taking the knees from side to side to release lower part of the back and the hip. We're going to ease over onto the side. So the right side of our body is going to be positioned with the elbow up underneath the shoulder. And we can soften the knees into this position. We want to embrace the muscles on the lower part of the abdomen closest to the mat. If we have scoliosis in any part of our spine, contracting the muscles on the side where the scoliosis is pronounced will strengthen the muscles that support the spine. So we can ease into this position with the elbow up underneath the shoulder and rise up with the arm. Nice. And then bring the arm up underneath the body. Ease up with a lift up and rotate 2. And one more makes 3. And ease into this reach up and bring the hands down. Go ahead and extend the legs. Once again, drawing the torso into elongation to strengthen the muscles that support the spine on the right side of our body. We're facing with the right side down. And then bend in the knee, work up with the knee. Go ahead and reach the hand to the peace fingers around the big toe in front of the knee and lift and extend. Anantasana, the endless pose. So we really work to strengthen the muscles that support the spine without slouching through the spine. And we can really push up long with the right leg, rising up with this reach up. Now some round into this position. but strengthening the right side of the body with this position through the rib cage. It's great to strengthen the spine. We'll do this on both sides. More work on the side where we need the strength to align the spine. Go ahead and bend the knee and release and extend. So both legs come down, repositioning as we choose, lifting the leg up and down, and then externally rotate, reach up with the toe, extend up with the leg. This is really working through the hip. Remember to sit up really tall through the spine, trying to work to engage the muscles and support the spine as we lift up into this movement. One more time. And release. Go ahead and swing over to the other side. A little breakdown smooth will take us there. And we ease over onto the left side with the elbow up underneath the shoulder. Working to lift through the rib cage, away from the mat, really working to strengthen the muscles. We'll notice each side. One side may feel weaker than the other. The knees are soft. So we're kind of using the hands, stacking the elbow up underneath the shoulder for support, and the knees are soft to bring a real release through the legs. And once more, lifting and holding. And we can extend the legs as we choose and embrace strength through the spine by lifting through the rib cage, drawing the top leg in, reaching for the big toe, reach and extend, push and lengthen, long and strong, and really work to lengthen that spine as we lengthen through the leg, extending up, Ananta, endless, the endless pose, Anantasana. We could hold this pose forever if we choose. Just an option someday, soon perhaps. And we can always gaze up to the extended foot through the leg and reach with the peace fingers around the big toe. And release, bending in that knee, softening and releasing down. Always remember to embrace the lengthening of the spine if there's any discomfort in the back. And ease up, abducting with a lift up. Opening through the hip with a rotation of the knee, extending up. Externally rotate as we lift and rotate the toe up towards the ceiling. Let's do one more. Try to hold that up just like we did on the other side. Long and strong with that leg lifted and reaching. And moving to the other side once again. We're going to try a side plank with a little more work if that's available to us. We can do forearm side plank by going ahead and extending the legs, stacking or staggering as we choose. Stacking the legs, really squeeze to lift through the rib cage, align the spine. The hand comes down to stabilize, lift the hip, lengthen with the arm. On the forearm this time, arm comes over the ear. Side planks are wonderful to strengthen the muscles of support and elongate the spine. Gazing up under the elbow, rising up as we choose, and releasing down as we wish. If we'd like to come to a full side plank, we can extend and lift and lengthen and reach. Maybe taking the top leg up, stacking our joints, gazing up towards the sky. The top leg can lift and come back. We can lift up through the hip, always stabilizing through the core. And finding our way back down, extending the arm and lowering down to the side. Taking a little break as we swing through to the other side, moving into our options for side plank, always working Focus on stabilizing through the core, from the hips through the shoulders, stacking our joints, stabilize, holding this position and lifting into the forearm, side plank, Vasistasana, Vasista. I've been to Vasista's cave in the Himalayas. Beautiful. Arm can come over the ear if we choose. Reach and extend, stagger, or stack through the feet. Easing down, releasing down. And finding our full side plank with the shoulders stacking, the arms reaching. And the feet can be stacked or staggered. We can reach over the head to the wall or stack and reach with a gaze up. And a lift of the leg if we choose. And bring the foot behind the leg and ease over as we choose. Easing up, releasing down, slowly lowering and releasing down. Go ahead and find our back, easing over onto the back. This time we're going to move through with a spinal twist through the hip and completing our practice with the spinal twists up to the top of the body, top of the torso in a seated position. Let's begin with the hands by the hips and drawing the right knee in, catching up underneath the hamstring and positioning the knee over the hips. Go ahead and take the arms out to a T. This time we're going to cross the knee over so the left arm reaches over to the right, and we ease over with a rotation over through the hip, keeping the shoulders relaxed back and down, maybe gazing over to the right side. The orientation of the twist is through the lower part of the back with a stretch through the hip, deep stretch through the external rotators in the hip, releasing the piriformis, extending the leg as we choose. We go really gently if we have any discomfort in the back, lower part of the back, or any kind of issues with our spine, any misalignments. We're working to strengthen the muscles that support the spine to remove pain and discomfort for our bodies. Lauren Fishman, sciatica.org is a great resource. I highly recommend watching some of Lauren's videos. Go ahead and bend the knee and rotate down. Sciatica.org. Moving to the other side, we take the left knee in, take the arms out to a T, left arm across the right thigh. We can always position the hand as we need on the left side, easing over with the left knee, rotating over onto the side of the hip, elongating, still stabilizing and lengthening, keeping the shoulders down. Gaze can be over to the left. And then ease back up, rotating back up, and extend the legs. Reach for the block. We're coming into a supported bridge pose. We go ahead and walk the feet in right in front of the hip one at a time and do a little lift of the hip with a long spine and position the block right up underneath the hip. Reach up underneath the hip and feel the top of the hip, the iliac crest, and make sure the block is away from the lumbar spine, positioned on the lower part of the back there at the hip, really at the hip girdle, below the top of the hip. And go ahead and take and bring the right knee in, extend the right leg out. This is a psoas stretch to release. The tight psoas can pull the back out of position. Take the right arm overhead, reaching, extending, with the arm and the leg. Nice reach with the arm and the leg, feeling this lengthening through the front of the hip. The psoas connects the lower part of the back, L3 through L5, S1, S2, comes across and connects at the top. The sciatic nerve runs that way, and the lumbar spine with the psoas reaching from L1 all the way up the back. The psoas actually extends all the way up to the back from the middle part of the back, just below the thoracic spine, all the way and extends down, connects the top of the hip. So we're pulling through that part of the body. We're kind of flossing the sciatic nerve from L3 to L5, S1, S2, reaching and lengthening and releasing that down. Let's do the other side. Left leg, lengthen and extend, reach. We can point the toe if we'd like and take the left arm up and reach up and really work to stretch through the hip, the sciatic nerve, there, middle part of the lumbar spine down to the sacrum. And the psoas from the top of the lumbar spine down all the way to the sacrum, connecting to the top of the thigh on the left side. So the psoas muscle connects to the ilium on the front of the hip and is a combination of muscles, the primary hip flexor to lift the knee. And we're going to move this right leg out and try to extend and reach with the arms and the legs with the hips lifted, reaching long with the arms, reaching long with the legs, reach and extend, pull and elongate all the connective tissues, all the fascia, the anatomy, trains, all those connective tissues that run from the tip of the toes, the tip of the fingertips, through from the head to the toes. And bring the hands by the hips, bend in the knees. Go ahead and push into a full bridge position this time, bringing the feet right up underneath the knees. Hands come beside the block, push and lift with a lift of the hip, easing up and removing the block and easing down. Now we may want to check in with the back. That is a little pressure on the lumbar spine. If we have any kind of issues in the sacroiliac joint, any arthritis, osteoarthritis in the lower part of the back or the hip, we may feel some discomfort there, and we want to release any tightness, any tension, any discomfort that we feel. And we're going to kind of bring the feet in, roll up, and press up to seated, doing a lift up, rising up, and bring the feet in and cross the ankles as we choose. One direction and then reverse and do the other direction. Maybe positioning into a half lotus for a moment and check in with those legs on each side. Any kind of tightness and tension that we feel, kind of loosen that up, give the body a chance to relax, including the sitting bones, and then reposition with those legs. And check in with the other side. Half lotus, and someday working into full lotus with the legs. Spinal twist through the thoracic. We're going to bring the hands to heart center, rising up with the arms, lifting up, and bring the hands down. Now bring the arms up and bring the hands to the heart. Overlap the hands and take the elbows the height of the shoulders. Pull the elbows out and the shoulder blades in. Really squeeze the rhomboids right between the shoulder blades to pull the shoulders back and to pull the shoulder blades in. And elongate with the reach. Then bring the hands to heart center into a Ganesha Mudra, overlap with the hands, making the hands into a union like a bear claw, and pull the elbows out, height of the shoulders. Nice and tall through the spine, creating that dynamic energy from the base of the hip, up through the torso, up into the shoulders, and elongating with the head reaching to the sky. Release and extend and do the other side. Bring our hands to bear claw, find the Ganesha Mudra, remover of obstacles, the elephant-headed deity. Om Gum Ganapatiye Namaha. Removing those obstacles to life's journey. Strong like a warrior, following Ganesha and his lead. Release and extend. Flying bird, easing into the flying bird. And then into the spinal twist, easing into the heart, lifting if we choose, or bring the hands to heart center. Rotate to the right, let the hands drop in. Nice rotation with the shoulders. Use the back hand to push. The right hand can extend out if we choose. We can come all the way back around the back to pull that shoulder back. We can extend the hand behind the back. Whatever works to get the rotation with stability from the base of the hip up through the spine, rotating with the shoulders, and then follow with the chin. Thoracic rotation begins at the belly, the solar plexus, up through the chest and into our cervical spine with a rotation of the chin. Back to center with a rotation. Bring the hands to heart center. Lift and extend, reach and lengthen. Hands can come to the heart center as we choose, rotating to the side. Always shorten the levers anytime we need. Positioning the hands, the left arm can extend out, coming across the back to pull the shoulder back. Leveling the shoulders. Use the hand behind the back if we need to push up really tall, and rotate with the chin. Using the hands behind the back to push forward and lift up from the base of the hip, rooting down the sits bones, centering and grounding ourselves to the earth, and rotating with the shoulders and with the chin. And then find our way back into position, hands on top of the thigh, circle movements, lifting up with an inhale, and take the right shoulder down, gazing to the left. Inhale to the other side. Once more on each side. And if we choose one more round, just to work into this rotation with a lift and release, forward fold. Back to center. Hands to heart center. Hope you've enjoyed this practice to strengthen and lengthen through the spine, stabilizing the core, creating core stability